I'd like to welcome everybody to the April 25th meeting of the York City Historical Architectural Review Board. Has everyone received the minutes and checked them out?
I make a motion to approve.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
No nays. The minutes are approved. Oh, and of course I forgot the roll call. Kunkel, I'm here. Skian is absent. Zumbrun is absent. Schurmeyer.
Here.
McLean Gross.
Here.
Buffington.
Here.
Gifford.
Here.
And Lindy.
Here.
Mama.
You're not having coffee.
Oh, come on.
All right, the first case tonight, 109 East Market Street. Repair damaged wood outside windows, strip and paint to match existing color. Step up to the podium.
Well, I'm the owner of the property at 109 East Market Street, and I have Ulysses here. He's going to be doing the work on the property, replacing basically the top head of the windows are damaged and they need replaced. Yeah, you have the pictures there. So he has the prints as far as what he's going to do and what he's going to use to rebuild those windows heads. The sills and all the rest around the windows are in good shape. It's just the top head that got hit by moisture over the years.
So I'm looking at his drawing here.
Yep.
What kind of wood were you going to use? Spanish cedar. And you're just going to match all those profiles as close as humanly possible.
Yes.
Any thoughts, Mark? We're just talking about
Yeah.
these window tops.
Yeah. Just the window tops and the he'll light sand the whole way around the window and repaint the same color that's there now.
It's basically a replacement in kind with cedar,
Yes.
is what you're going to be doing. Okay. Is there going to be any flashing over the top of it?
No, it's just gonna be a seal with
Okay.
all the way around.
Okay. Because I'm thinking if you didn't have a drip cap, eventually it may do the same thing, but it didn't have one to begin with, so.
Is
Okay.
it going to like tilt down a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'll need that, yeah, so it sheds water, or it'll be, yeah. Okay. I mean, an in-kind replacement, that's pretty easy with cedar. I mean, if there's no other discussion, I'll move that we approve the application as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
No nays. Where do you get your Spanish cedar?
Well, I have a guy who make them all the trim.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where he sourced with
Okay.
the material. But it's gonna be Spanish seed.
That'll be fine.
bien.
All right, good.
That should hold up.
Thank
real well.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yep.
Sir.
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 So go to city council, once city council puts it through, then it'll go back to Charlie, and put that on the application, so I can always done. Thank you.
It's out of order.
So we're good for now.
For now, it's just permanent until after it goes to city council, which is whenever this code, I guess it'll be Tuesday, something like that. So, whenever that is.
Tuesday, right, okay.
Yeah. Because we surpassed the third Tuesday work until the clerk, city clerk submits it to me. So she submits it to me, I give it to Charlie first, and then you can get the permit to do it immediately. And that goes for anybody that's in here that gets approval or whatever. You're welcome.
Okay, the next case is 322 East King Street.
Okay. So we're the owners of 322 East King. We are in the process of renovating this property for a rental. And we hired a contractor, he changed the windows, they weren't the same size. And we didn't know that we were in the historical district. So they're already in there. They are also vinyl, and I did the paperwork that was on the website. So we're asking that we can keep them and finish the work inside. We just dumped in a ton of money into this, and we can't afford wood windows this size. So, or another option, like just give us time to be able to change them, but be able to fix the property and get renters in there.
Did you pay the contractor yet?
We did.
Okay. And then I guess it depends by your contract whose responsibility it was for the permit and to be sure that they were complying with, if it was his responsibility, then you probably have an action against him. Yeah, I mean, this is like a big issue. We can't allow them to remain because one of the really key issues, the reason this board exists is things like this, that replacement windows fit the size of the opening. And at the opening he doesn't do the kind of thing that he did there. That's even more serious than the vinyl windows. Even in situations where we allow vinyl windows on the rear of buildings, they still have to fit within the existing frame. So they can't be something where like the bottom, is filled in with 2x because he's gone to Lowe's and gotten something that sort of fits and, So anyway, yeah, I think they're gonna have to be replaced with something that fits, appropriately, fits the original frame opening.
Steve, does changing the window opening, at what point is it a problem with codes? You can't climb out it.
Right, first floor is five square feet. Upper floors above that are 5.7 square feet net opening.
So there's no violation of that here.
Not sure.
With you.
Probably not. Look,
Probably not, but you'd have to, and then also the sill height. I mean, I see
Yeah,
the
well, the
first floor,
sill height is-
he's
yeah.
increased the sill height, so who
Yeah.
knows what they are without your measuring it.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you explain?
Are you getting at
Like-
if this would be occupiable by renters before the work would be done? Is that what we're trying to get at? Possibly.
What'd you ask, I'm sorry?
I was just wondering, like, are we trying to get at maybe the idea that people could be able to, like renters could be able to come into the place and have the place rented out? Get,
Occupancy
yeah, get the
permit,
occupancy permit before the windows are
Well,
replaced.
even that, is the house a single-family home right now?
No.
Is it a licensed and inspected two-unit?
Well, no, we can't because, we were told that this was the first step.
It is, but
So-
I'm saying, what, to your comment, so it is not a licensed and inspected two-unit, you wanna make it to be that?
Right, like, there's a ton of work that still needs done, but we had to stop now for 3 weeks. And so, we've told people that we're interested in the place that we're gonna have to wait. And so we're just trying to figure out, because we can't just not finish it, I guess. But I did look at prices of wood windows. I mean, they're like $700 a window. So if you have any suggestions.
Well, yeah,
And that's not even for the size that we need.
And they don't have to be wood. As a matter of fact, the wood might not be your best option. They can be a composite
Okay,
window there, but it needs to be sized to fit the opening. And typically what's done is your frames, which the frames, the sills, everything look in pretty good condition here, they're kept. And then the stops are pulled and the new unit is sized that it fits directly in that frame. And then there's just minimal trim,
right.
where that new unit, because the new frames on the new units are very thin. So they can fit right in that existing frame and you maintain that look, but they're sized to fit with the stops pulled side of frame, sill to head of frame. And one I mention a lot is the Anderson A series, which is a composite on the outside, I think Fibrex wood on the inside. There are 100 series, which is all composite. We don't really care what's on the inside. We have no jurisdiction over that, so that's acceptable. Marvin, Pella, all of them have fiberglass or composites that are different than vinyl. They hold up better than vinyl, and the profiles and everything on a simple window like this, these are just like one over one pane of glass over one pane of glass, very minimal frame or sash and meeting rail dimensions. They all meet those requirements. So there are ones out there. Now, as to whether they're $700 a window or whatever, I don't know.
Well, these would definitely have to be custom.
Yeah, they would be
So-
customized to fit that frame, right.
But
Right.
wood surprisingly is gonna be a lot pricier these days
Yeah.
than most other materials.
And the wood's not gonna hold up.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you
if I
can
can avoid wood, then I will.
you
But
can
the
do a metal clad
original-
wood, you can do a, composite clad wood, but I wouldn't necessarily even recommend that. Those are probably gonna cost you more than just an all composite or all fiberglass.
So, yes, we can definitely look into that, but it would still require time. And we're asking that we can at least get the inside worked
Yeah, you
on.
wanna proceed with the inside
Can't even
renovations and
remove the
then
trash.
deal with the
Yeah.
window. Yeah, that's, Steve is here, that would be,
I don't necessarily have an issue with that, to get you moving. The first step you're gonna have to do, because how many units do you wanna have?
2.
Okay, first thing you're gonna have to do is talk to our zoning officer. Okay, did he approve 2 units?
It says
Waiting
it's,
on this.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but it
So
also
we'll-
says in process.
Nancy, will you get with Monty tomorrow?
So what needs to be done as far as, I mean, they can do the work to, as long as it meets codes, to do the 2, but if they don't get permission for 2 units, then.
Nancy, you're giving false information. I can't even issue a permit until the zoning officer approves it.
Well, are you gonna approve them doing it parallel to the HARB, because they're gonna have to come back for the windows?
Yeah, that's at their peril, yes.
Okay.
But
So
Monty
is
would
that
have to approve it or do a zoning,
determination, so on OpenGov, have you signed up on OpenGov?
Yeah, so because we have another rental property, so that's already.
The zoning determination would need to be done for this address.
So sorry, I already submitted that application and it says in progress. And then I had Ali call to check on it and he said it takes 10 days. I mean, we're at 11 days, but it still says in progress.
Okay, well, I can pull it up, but yeah, so he has 10 days to complete that. If he hasn't completed it because it needs to go to HARB, I will let him go ahead and just process that. That will only tell you what you will need to do to file the appeal that goes through to get approval or denial, or whatever, to try to get approval for a 2 unit.
Okay.
Okay, so, I can't, for whatever reason, I can't be a guest.
yeah, it's in process. It's, looking here. It was submitted on the 15th.
So today's day 10.
Oh, 10 days ago, okay.
It's- but it's-
Oh, okay.
But when we,
It's in process.
but when we say 10 days, is it 10 business
Business
days?
Yes,
Okay,
Okay, but that we did.
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But Nancy, will you get with Monty tomorrow to let him know to go ahead and, thank you.
So we will look into those other options, but if it is, let's say, even 500 a window,
It may be.
right? and if not more. And that's just to purchase it. And then we still have to install it. What are our options now? To take these out and put these older windows that could barely open back in? My money's not, like, our pockets aren't that deep.
Understood. And unfortunately, we oftentimes see folks that get caught up in this. They purchase a property, they don't realize that it's in the HARB district, and then all of a sudden, when they go to do some upgrades and whatnot, they get this huge, horrible surprise.
Yeah. I wouldn't have even touched it, but it was really, it needed repaired, like, you could barely open them.
Right. And I think the real issue is the real issue is when you start up and down a block replacing windows that are not size of the openings. After a while, everything is, the rows themselves are very, even though the houses may vary from house to house and some of the details, they're very uniform in the way the window openings and everything else are placed. And when you start having all those different sizes, after a while, it really looks very, not only is it historically inappropriate, but it looks very poor. And
And on this,
I think it's a matter of time. Once a permit, you're going to need zoning approval. You're going to need a permit open to do your inside work, interior work anyway. The windows would be part of that. So it would be just a matter of time as to how long that permit can remain open and how long of a period till the windows have to be replaced with something appropriate. In other words, the inside might be able to be finished first,
Yes, and
provided these replacements meet code. If they don't meet code, and what you pulled out, like, for example, if he raised the sill height to a point that when he measures it inside, it doesn't meet the egress window requirements in a bedroom, then you got other issues.
a window big enough for somebody to,
yeah, and there's height above the floor to take into
And
consideration.
for the fire department to get in and rescue somebody in a
Right.
non-sprinklered building is the other issue, yeah. Why it's
So
in the code.
so do these, I'm sorry, are the codes in the city, I guess, different than, like, I guess, the suburbs?
Other than the HARB board, some municipalities have
Fire.
HARB boards, some don't. Otherwise, it's the same code everywhere throughout the
curious, 'cause
state.
these are-
Yeah, it's
these
the
are
statewide
replacement
building
windows, so they're-
code. so-
Yeah,
Right, yeah, so I was just wondering, because these are replacement windows that are now standard for, like, the newer homes. So I guess my thought process was if they're able to go into those homes.
But
Well,
newer homes
it-
are typically sprinklered? Or have different, newer homes typically have different interior, like, they either have sprinklers or smoke detectors or things like that? Part of it is the old home versus a new home?
well, that's not it.
These
You
have to have
You do have windows, like, if I was to show you a manufacturer's window catalog, you'd see windows of all different sizes. You'd see some that don't meet egress requirements, and they can be in rooms and spaces that meet egress requirements. Then you'll see other ones that they have marked that meet the code egress requirements, because generally that egress requirement is the same in every code throughout the country. And most codes use what's called the International Building Code or in ICC codes, and in every state. And those requirements are everywhere for residential. And so some windows meet it, some don't. From a design professional standpoint, if we have a room or a space that needs an egress window, then you have to be sure that one of the windows you're putting in that space meets the egress requirements.
And that I'm fine with. 'Cause I would want, like, safety is
Sure.
the
Right.
first, right?
Right.
My thing is that I understand, like, I know why this board's in place. I get that. I don't know if you've been on this block, though, recently. I just feel like we've put so much into this that I've seen no other landlord do.
And, yeah, and we understand that. I think it's just a matter of, if we also were to, allow this to go through, then
Right. And then I also thought about that.
Everybody
Then
has to
everyone,
be allowed
even
to
the
do it.
people, like, closer to the center, I get that.
Right.
That's why, like, I just want some time.
What are you thinking about as a time frame?
Well, I mean, I've spent pretty much everything,
Okay.
so we need to be able to finish it out and get renters in there and start making some of that back. but I don't know, like if a year to, or a little over that, just so I can figure out the size and how much it would be. Because I mean, if you're talking even 500 each window, and that's the minimum, because now we have to custom size these. I mean, that's gonna be a lot, like, that's a lot, and I would love to see York, turn into like, there's nothing I love more than like a brownstone in Manhattan, but I just feel like we're not here yet. And it's really hard for me to justify this
Well,
financially.
I do have the ability as building code official to issue a temporary certificate of occupancy. And however, the state requires that on that temporary certificate of occupancy, I list what any outstanding items are, which in this case would be Historic Architectural Review Board compliant windows, and then I have to put an end date. I can't leave it open, so I have to put an end date. So, and I'd be willing to work with you on that.
Okay.
And probably what we would ask would be, well, we wouldn't have to have an agreement, because if you didn't comply by the end date, then we pull your certificate of occupancy, and none of us want to have to do that. But, so, let's proceed with your permitting. Go through the zoning process, begin the process of obtaining your permits, and we can work on a time frame for a temporary certificate of occupancy to be able to give you the time to get some income back in. Again, with the caveat that if you put any of those raised windows in any of the bedrooms, we'll have to measure those and make sure that that they're not too high off the floor.
Okay. And that's fine, like, it's, anything safety-wise, we will make sure that's done.
So, Steve, you're granting not only just for the zoning determination, but also for the appeals process to go through, to process on through.
Yeah, my timeframe's not gonna start until the zoning stuff is wrapped up, and then we can make a determination after that process goes through how long we need and what's reasonable.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that, so
Yeah, and I think I would necessarily bring that, or at least discuss that amongst the board members to make sure everybody's comfortable with it, probably by email.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd need to have another hearing for it, but,
Yeah.
I'm not extremely uncomfortable with working with them on that.
As long as these are replaced eventually, with something that's compliant, we're fine with it. Yeah. So I think that's as far as it goes with this board, we're fine with that. And then your bigger thing is working with the permits office is for time frame and zoning and that kind of thing.
Okay. And then, so the space that is out, if, we are able to wait, we are, of course, can still cover it with whatever you feel will keep the nature of the appearance of it, I guess. Because we just put vinyl or metal or whatever the contractor typically wraps around that. So will that be fine? Or will that be in the details?
Well, yeah,
What
you
to
should-
cover it with, basically?
Yeah, you shouldn't, we don't allow wrapping.
Or, which I don't know the terms, maybe the contractor should have been here, but, or whatever, to just, so that it's not just this, like, piece of wood.
You just want to finish it minimally while you have the temporary.
Right, but still have
yeah.
it look
Yeah.
like it's, yeah.
Yeah, I would say as long as you're not adding any additional profiles and you're not
No.
building off what you've already got in this photo here, it seems like it would just make sense to.
Just make it
It's-
look finished.
Talking on the conditions that this is gonna get
top
removed
windows
anyway, so you
Right.
guys gotta make it just clean it up a
I
little
think
bit, that makes
so.
sense.
They look like they have the tags
Yeah,
on
yeah.
them.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
We don't say anything about paint, you should paint it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
It could be as simple as just painting.
Are the second floor windows replaced?
The second, those are also, yes,
They're
like,
also replaced.
except for
but they-
that bathroom one.
But they fit.
Well,
No, it's a little bit, so that original window was a little bit shorter. So it's just not as obvious. I think it was.
Wasn't as bad.
So the
they fit better.
Yes, so, I have 32 by 64, for the top ones, but the windows that we bought were 27.5, so it should fit. Where the bottom was 30 by 72. So
Okay.
that one was the largest. And then I also heard and read that we can't change, I guess, the decorative molding around the window. Correct?
You can replace it, I see some of it's deteriorated, you can
Yeah.
replace it in kind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's-
or with a composite, and again, that can be a composite material, PVC material, that
Thank
kind
you.
of thing that you can replicate,
Put your foot down.
and that would probably last you longer.
Yeah, you just gotta have the same profile.
Or you get,
back in.
yeah, or you get somebody to replicate, you can replicate it out of Spanish cedar like the case before you was doing,
And
or you
somebody said
can
was
do it,
expensive, and then I was
yeah,
like,
or you can do it, there's a material called AZIC out there, there are competitors that you can replicate it with that.
"Okay."
That would last you that might even last you longer than the Spanish cedar. But yeah, we would want that repaired and or replaced in kind, and a good carpenter can easily
Yeah.
replicate that, there's nothing, really complicated about any of it. It's just you can't go to, a hardware store and
And
buy
then
it.
buy the new,
Yeah.
like, whatever design that they
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
We're gonna do whatever is it, like the easiest, I guess, but, okay, I think that was all my things. Anything else? Okay. All right, so the next step, we just, sorry, do you need to tell us?
Nancy, do you need a motion from somebody?
Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah,
table
so
it.
are you tabling it, or?
I would
I don't know.
continue it.
I thought we were just
Reject it.
amending it to be
Okay.
metal or composite clad windows must be used. That's the amendment.
Yeah,
But we're allowing them to go forward with zoning before we,
Well, that's not, that wouldn't be in a HARB.
yeah, that's not, that's a building permit office thing, we're just part of that process.
That's in the discussion, but the actual action that you need to take, somebody needs to make a motion.
I nominate Schermeyer.
I'll move that, we require the replacement windows to be replaced with appropriately sized 1/1 windows that fit within the existing frame. An existing frame sill and heads and decorative window hoods are to remain.
Who's gonna wipe your face, little man?
Decorative window hoods are to be repaired
Now, who's a teen boy?
and or replaced in kind if required. And that the new windows, the new replacement windows need to meet HARB guidelines, i.e. wood, composite clad wood, all composite windows are similar. You got all that?
Essentially.
I second that.
You need to repeat it, Lauren, please, for it to be official.
Yeah, yeah.
And time frame for replacement will be in coordination with the permits office. You can add that.
Yeah.
In other words, we're not requiring that this be done tomorrow. It might be a year or more.
So I have the permit application in process, but I haven't submitted just because I was waiting, I think, for this. So will that hold up that? Like when they see this?
We'll free it up.
Okay,
Typically, it would hold it up, but in this case, to keep you moving forward, we'll free it up.
Your big thing is gonna be, I guess, getting zoning approval first before you, and if you don't get zoning approval, I don't know how you do it, but we still want these windows replaced.
Right.
So, yeah,
I guess like that would be more for the work that still needs completed,
yeah,
to make it livable.
yeah.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your night. Sorry, baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it's the ghost. The ghost of City Hall.
Look, she's strong. She's
Building's not old enough for a ghost.
big in our house these days.
Huh?
His sister shuts the door on him a lot
Second
to
floor
keep
on
him out of
their
the
side.
Barbies.
Comes from the old moose hall that used to be here.
Little girl plays ball in the hallways
Don't lock
upstairs.
yourself in there.
There you go. Comes from
That's what
something that used to sit here then.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like the moose lodge.
On the other hand, he's quiet, so.
That's when they join my office with the window. Every time I go to the floor, everybody thinks I'm mad, that's because it goes, boom, slam.
Okay, 200?
Are we doing 200 West Market next?
Yeah, 119 South Newberry's not coming, we're just looking at the minutes.
Nancy, you can save yourself some, unless everybody else wants it, you can save yourself some paper. And only the chair needs a certificate of appropriateness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would,
yeah.
that cut some time off your prep,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
back in the old days, that, the certificate of appropriatenesses were only given to whoever was chairing. Yeah. Because the rest of us don't need them. Okay, that saves you a little bit.
Okay, 200 West Market Street. That's you?
Yep.
Welcome.
Brett Leckleitner, I'm the Regional Vice President for Acadia Healthcare. We are leasing the building, 200 West Market Street, adding a comprehensive treatment center to the facility, and we're looking to add 2 signs to the location, as you can see, to show the entrance and to identify who we are. One from kind of street view, and the other on the elevator shaft, and the information as the material and things are provided.
And these appear to meet the HARB signage guidelines, so I have no issues with them.
And on a modern building,
Yeah, and it's a modern non-contributing building and a even more modern elevator tower. So the only issue is if the size meets zoning, and that's for them to determine.
I'd make a motion to accept as submitted, or approve as submitted.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I appreciate it, thank you very
How
much.
hard was that?
That was an easy one, yeah.
Not window related.
It's one of those unique situations where we have a modern building in the middle of the historic district, and
Thanks for
It's
coming
easy.
in, though.
A lot better, I go to especially zoning hearings, because we are outpatient drug and alcohol facility.
Oh, yeah, and the
I
NIMBYs
go to a lot
are,
of
come out, yeah.
Lower basement, standing room only.
Yeah.
Everybody at that.
Yeah.
It's nice to have an easy one.
Just for today though, don't come back next month.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We should have had you up first, sorry you had to wait.
No, it's really, sitting like.
Plus, then you can go back and say, like, man, I had to sit through like
Yeah.
40 minutes of that meeting.
Yeah, right. Well, now-
Thank you. So we're asked to approve 119 South Newberry? What are her siding materials? They're gonna be like a fiber cement? That's only my inner window materials. And we do allow vinyl in the rears of these
but it
houses.
says materials still to be determined.
Okay,
Yeah, I do
yeah,
remember.
we're gonna have to specify something.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
think there's just a lack of drawings.
they didn't have enough information.
I mean, I think I'm,
Yeah, because these are the people who came to us and thought we were going to recommend a contractor. Now I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, I don't remember their names, but
Yeah.
I remember that ugly deck.
I remember this, but I wasn't
No,
at
thank
this
you.
meeting, I don't think, so I don't remember your discussions.
I think they need to come in with
More specification. Steve had a comment here. He thinks, go ahead.
I think they need to come in with a package and present. I just don't think there's enough specificity here.
Are you okay?
Make sure you spell that right, Nancy.
And ultimately, I mean, the rest of the board can say, I'm fine with this design for a rear L on this building. I think fits and it might not be, well, yeah, I think it's fine. So I don't think they need to change the design. I think it's just the materials. We need to know what they're using for siding, the railing, balustrade railing around the top of the deck. and the bottom deck, windows, door, that kind of thing. How they're getting water off the top deck, because I assume that roof can't be dead flat. That's a thing
Wouldn't think
that,
so.
you know,
Well, did they?
that's a thing Steve will want to know.
These fonts.
All right, Steve, there is nothing to give me the correct spelling.
S-P-E, wait, I can do this, S-P-E,
Okay, hold on, S.
Oh, now you gotta go slow, that'll make it harder.
Go ahead.
S-P-E-C-I-F-I-C-I-T-Y.
Correct.
Yep.
100 points, Lauren.
Why would that not come up when I tried to spell check?
Oh, no.
How did you spell it the first time?
No, I was only off with, F, no, the C and I left the C out.
Because sometimes spell check is just like, I give up. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're trying to spell, I give up, even though you're off by like
My
one letter.
spell check gets angry at
So
me
what
from time to
action are we
time.
taking?
Tabling it.
Yeah, I think they have to come back.
Table it, I will move that we table the application pending,
Hold on. Specificity.
This is what they brought in the first time.
Recommended what?
Yeah.
we are tabling the applications, pending
More specificity?
further submission of the following materials: siding, windows, railings, door, foundation cladding.
Deck material.
And I think we can also say that the design itself is acceptable for rear L on this property. So they don't have to change anything with that, they just,
Siding doors,
siding, doors, railings, guardrails, balusters, and the foundation cladding. It looks like that's a brick. It could be stucco, it could be multiple things, it could be simple.
Yeah, I mean, I just pulled up the stuff they sent us the last time, and they haven't given us any additional information. Like,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
looks the
know.
same.
That was what they, yeah.
I don't know why they think they.
Where is down?
Again,
Well, apparently
We'll say
half
yes
of
the second time.
half of the defense is what we already did and we didn't know.
I just
Yeah,
did
that's,
that.
yes, yeah. How many
That
times
doesn't
have
work
you
on
heard
my
that?
8-year-old.
Well, when they do this York City Realtor course, I'm gonna beat them to death on disclosure
And
of,
that's going on, I've been on this board for 25 years now or something, and maybe more. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, what's like 1998-ish,
26.
26 years now? And yeah, that's like, then we were hearing it then and we're, you know,
I didn't know I wasn't HARB.
right?
yeah. And the realtors don't have to disclose, my realtor didn't tell me, you know, they didn't disclose it, and I know the disclosure rules have gotten tighter since then.
well, are y'all gonna unanimously agree to that?
Dennis, why, I made a motion and.
I second it.
And,
Second
no, she doesn't.
Blake already said, there we go.
Mindy seconded and now call for it.
We're down here working. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Go at it.
I would also mention the design is acceptable, they don't need to, you know, they just
Oh, yeah,
need,
that's true.
need to,
And
need the
design
materials.
what?
The design as presented is acceptable, but we need to know the materials.
William James, no thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
We don't vote on
There
a
are no
table.
shutters.
Huh?
We don't vote on
Well, I
it.
don't
Yeah,
think
we
we
do.
tabled it, did we?
That was the motion
Is
to
that
table
was to
it.
table it,
Yeah, pending these materials.
pending those
Materials.
submissions?
More information on materials to be used for siding, doors, railings, windows,
Yeah, I think we
balusters.
voted on that.
Design is acceptable and Ms. Pitzel, seconded.
Okay,
Which is kind of what we said the first time with
Right.
more information.
right.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to table this application. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Lindy, are you a realtor?
Now, Dennis, I just need to see you later so I can scan them.
I don't know if this matters to you.
I think we currently have a realtor.
So the,
No, we don't. I don't think.
We don't have a, well, that's why I asked Lindy, because I knew the
We
rest of the
did,
board.
but yeah, she had to resign, yeah.
So the Realtors Association of York and Adams County, RAAC, has access to, it has a database that they have built, that you can add a field that says HARB, that would have to be required.
Right.
I went to college with the CEO of RAAC. I'm happy to reach out to her and say,
Good,
hey,
please.
we are having some serious problems with your realtors.
And this has gone on for